Okay, here from the future, I want to say something before I start this video so it makes sense to you. This is the order that I have, which is a beanie, black color, ready for men. So it's an adult size. And I'm going to talk about measurements and everything in a minute. But the video, I'm going to start it with a different yarn and I'm going to end it with this one because the black yarn is so hard to see over videos. And the first two rows are so complicated, tricky. Specifically, you have to see what you're doing. And I found that when I film it on black, I couldn't see anything. So I'm going to refilm it for you. That's what you're going to see right now. I'm going to show you in a different color. And then to finish it and to close it up, we're going to move to this one. Okay, just to let you know right now why I'm changing colors. This one is absolutely done right now. So I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to take a brighter color to start with. And I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful, really quick and easy last minute beanie for any gift or surprise for any family member or friend or something like that. Let's talk about materials. We are going to need a yarn, whichever color. I want the pink one because it's quite vibrant and visible and clear. The hook, I'm using a 4mm hook, and your measure tape. This one is really important for this project. Okay, so let me find my center over here. We're gonna start like always with our slip knot. There we go. And now you're gonna chain as many as you need until you have 40 centimeters or kind of like 15 inches. Okay, here comes the tricky part. Okay, you're going to chain one as the beginning of the row. Okay, you're gonna chain one in every single row. Now flip this over. This is why I needed you to see properly. Okay, let's make this zoom. All right, so can you see that rope over there? Yeah, that is also over there. It's on the back, right? If you see it this way, you can see the V. I want that rope. So you're gonna yarn over, you're gonna insert it there. In this row is really hard, so maybe try to push it with your fingers. I'm just trying to be in camera. I know sometimes it's hard for me, sorry. So I need, as I say, if you cannot remember what it was, there are the V's. There we go. Is this one over here. Okay, so you're gonna push yourself in there. Okay, you got it, yeah? Now yarn over, pull through one. You have 3. And now comes the tricky again. Yarn over.
You're gonna pull that same loop that you just put on your hook. You're gonna pull it through both
one
of
and two,
them.
And
okay, so we are doing a half double crochet slip knot. That's how it's called. So yarn over again. Go back again to that back loop in there that you can see. Right, as I say, it's really hard to do on this one. If you want to, you can help yourself with another hook and then kind of like stand it up from one side and then do it. But as you can see, that same loop that we put on our hook to make the 3 is the one that you're gonna push through 3 of them to close it down, or to the other two to close it down. Okay, that's the stitch that we're doing. Things are gonna get a lot easier once you finish this row. Of course, I absolutely understand. I went through it a few times, and I get that you have to do 40 centimeters in this case for a male size, but it's gonna be worthy. And then after this one, yes, you will still work in the same stitch that we're doing right now, but you're gonna work in a different way. I'm gonna show you right now, but it's gonna be a lot easier, because right now your yarn is quite tight. It's more flexible on the side of the chains than on this back side. Okay, that's why. But you're gonna create a really beautiful design. So please do not give up.
But this one is a
keep going, and I will see you once you finish.
Start to loosen up a little bit. Okay, can you see what we're doing there? Okay, so let me show you now how will it be the next row. I'm not gonna do it all because obviously this is just a sample that I'm doing to you, but let me just reduce this one smaller and then show it to you faster. All right.
Well, when you move along the stitches and I work on my little sample, I want to tell you this. The reason why I did this sample, it's because I wouldn't do 40 centimeters or 15 inches for a female. I think that's quite big. That's more of a male size. For a female, I will go in between 35 to 38, and I will say you should measure it. But if you want to know exactly precisely the size that you should do for yourself or for somebody that you know, or an average, I will say take any beanie that you have home and then completely unfold it. You know, sometimes they come folded. You have to count that as well inside your measurements, and then you will get how many inches or centimeters should it be. Okay. As I said, this was a purely sample. The person that I was doing this order for, it was a male. It was a quite big person, and as well, he wanted to have it done on a way that it was quite loose. But those measurements are measurements you need to care about on the next clip when I show you and I explain you to do the big part of the beanie. Okay. Now that we have flipped our project, we are going to chain one. Okay, you're gonna chain one, and then you're gonna start working on the back loops of your chain. So you're gonna yarn over, go to the back loop of your next stitch, pull again that loop, you have 3, and then again that third one that you just put, you're gonna pull it through those 2. So again, we are doing a half double crochet slip stitch, sorry. So you have to do this throughout the entire rows. And again, this is what you have to do for all the rest of the beanie. It's as simple as that. You don't have to do anything else more than, as I'm saying to you, just work on the back chain of your stitch or the back loop of your stitch. Chain one in every single row and be really cautious with the last stitch. It tends to hide really easily, but it is there. I know counting this amount of stitches might be a burden and it might be something you don't want to do it, but if you're an absolute beginner, I really suggest you do it, and then you will remember that you have to have from that point onwards, you have to have this amount of stitches. For example, you count from the first one, you count 10. So all the time when you reach your stitch marker, like here you can see the curve, it is in there. I have to work that one on as well. So I will remember that I should have 10, no 9, no matter if the last one hides away. So again, as you're gonna see now, we chain one. We flipped again our project as a book. This is really similar to how I explained you how to do a lot of stitches on the first few weeks of this course for absolute beginners. And as you can see, I am doing absolutely the same every single row from now on. So row 1 is the hardest. From row 2 until you finish your project is absolutely the same way of working. Okay, how many centimeters you should do? you should do as many centimeters is the circumference of the head of the person. You can easily go to anybody and then ask them to measure it, or to measure a hat that that person might have as well. That's something that it could work if they cannot measure the person for some reason. Or I'm gonna leave in the description box down below the average circumference for children, infants, so for like baby, infants, children, teenagers, female, males, you know, and it might help you a lot. But then again, it all depends on the person. Not all the females have the same head size, but you can kind of build up an average, okay? Okay, here we have the work that I was doing, okay? Remember, we were doing 40 centimeters or 15 inches-ish, let's say. I'm gonna prove you right now how the projects get a little bit smaller as you work on them, okay? So as you can see right now, even if I stretch it, it reached 38 centimeters. That's why on the first change, you do have to follow patterns, okay? Because right now on the length that I'm gonna tell you right now, as I say, I was giving a measurement between 57, 59, 60. It was kind of like a not really clear size. But then again, the width was the most important one, because you have to make sure that that hat is enough for the person to put it on, be able to flip it, or to put it loose to the back, you know, like give the beanie effect. Otherwise, it will be quite like plain and flat and not able to flip it over, okay? What I like to do as well, I like to create samples. So samples more or less tell me always how many rows I am missing. So in this case, I went for 60 centimeters. So when I measured 60 centimeters, that will tell me right now, even if I, again, try to stretch the project as much as I want to, you cannot make it really, really tight. But you can see I was kind of like 1 centimeter away from the 60 centimeters. Then again, I'm gonna have to sew and everything is gonna get smaller, so I didn't really mind. But this is the most important thing. Right now, what you have to think is, what I need you to do is you have to finish the last row on the same side that when you start. So you see the tail is on the right hand side, okay? I need you to finish on that side as well. So you see right now where I am right now is where you have to finish. So the last row that you do unworked is on the same side that the tail of your beginning, and I'm gonna explain you right now why. But before I do that, I want to explain you something. Do you see those two loops, those two stitches in there? If you are confused and you're not sure, have I done the chain before I flipped or no? If you see those two stitches that way, you have not done your chain. You have to do it, okay? And then you will go, I'm gonna prove you right now that why I say I have to do it on the pink, because you can barely see what I'm doing on the black color, okay? For me, it's too hard to work on camera with it because I can barely see anything. And in even if I put many lights, you can still see it's not as clear, the V's and the stitches where they are, as any other colors, okay? I could say everybody that works with dark yarns will tell you how hard it is sometimes to work in dark colors. That's it. All the projects will take you double of the time than a bright color, because bright colors are quick and easier to work, just for the purpose of I can see the stitches. Okay, I want to also show you how does it look once it's finished. I mean, it's gorgeous. This is the effect that happens when you work on the back loop only. That is our beginning. Remember, I always told you this is our back, okay? That's the back of our project. Even if it looks really similar, it's not that similar. And that's our front. Again, I always told you to remember what is your back, and your front is wherever is your tail from the beginning. That is in your right hand side, and that is where the project starts, and that's your front side. What is the project gonna look like for you? And right now, what I'm gonna need you to do is flip your project, put both of the right sides, okay, the front that you have to show, and it's gonna be your final result of the beanie. I need you to put them both together. And because you're gonna sew, you're going to chain and work some stitches on the side of the beanie, that's the reason why I need you to finish that row on that side. And then that's our top, and that is the part that we're actually gonna sew completely. Okay, that's gonna be all crumply, and then there is the beanie absolutely done. But as I say, I let you work as many rows as you have to, and I'm gonna see you once you finished on that exact side to show you how to finish and close this beanie. If you have to, I will say measure it properly. If you need to do one extra or one less to finish on your right hand side, do so. But if you are under centimeters, I will suggest you do that extra row rather than you try to do it too tight, just because it's not gonna look that good and the yarn is gonna visibly be pulling. Okay, now that you have absolutely finished, as I told you, we're gonna connect both of the tails, which means we're gonna fold the beanie with the front side inside of our work. Okay, so that's the front because the tail is on our right, that's our back. So we're gonna put both of the corners together, and we're gonna start to do stitches on every single chain that we have to connect it on a way that you won't be able to really visibly see where does that beanie starts and ends. If you do this properly, use stitch markers if you have to. I use them, okay? If you use the stitch markers, it's gonna help you a lot. By the way to know you're doing the front, because I know you can say, oh, like I just proved you right now, if you put them one side or another, how do I know it's the front or the back? Okay, I need you to take the first stitch that you did, so over here, this one needs to be facing you. The last stitch that you did, which is on the back with the rest of the project, that stays behind it. Okay, so the first one, the front one, will be the first stitch that you did. So right now, chain one in there to finish that row. Then you're gonna take that yarn, and you are going to pull it through the first stitch. I nearly lose it here because sometimes that's me not being cautious and pulling the yarn like it's okay. So yeah, you're gonna pull that stitch from one side to another, so the first stitch that doesn't have any loop, it's gonna become our first stitch right now on this closing row. Okay, so as I say, the first row where you did the first few chains needs to be facing you right now. Okay, that's way you are 100% sure you have the two fronts facing. Okay, right now if I put it like this, look how weird is it look. It's normal, the yarn is not tight enough and everything. I'm gonna show you what you have to do, but please do and go get your stitch markers because you don't want to mess up this one and need it to go back. But basically what you have to do is you're gonna go on every single stitch, and the front stitch you're gonna take the both of the V's. Okay, you're gonna take the full stitch. On the other side, on the back stitch, you're gonna take the back loop, the same one that we were working before, not both, otherwise you will create a chunky bit over there. You're gonna pull the yarn and you're gonna do a slip stitch. So you're gonna work a whole row of slip stitch until you reach the corner. Again, you take the full V on your hook, you go to the next stitch and you only take the back loop. Again, right now it might sound easy, but me doing it with black, I can tell you at some point I could not see where my stitches were. That's why I use stitch markers. I put all my corners together, I attach everything together, and then it was way more clear where do I have to go next. Because as I say, you do not want to reach the corner and find yourself with a huge piece that is not in there, because otherwise the beanie will not be straight as you need it to be. Once I reach the end, you can see here all the stitch markers that I have, okay? I put them along the area where I was doing the slip stitches. You can see there on the first one. And by the way, can you see that you can barely see where is the connection? So if you do that, you take the full stitch and then you take the back loop, you're gonna create an invisible line. Once you reach the corner, I need you to work until the corner, okay? That yellow stitch marker for me, that's my corner, okay? You need to even work in there. So let's say, yes, even if it's a beanie and it's meant to be rounded, you have to work until the corner and create a proper square shape, because we are doing a rectangle that right now we are folding in half to be square. And in the corner, you're gonna take both of the stitches. Yes, create that big chunky bit and then chain one as if you were done. Let's say you're doing one of these scarves, I don't know how they're called, that you just pull them through your head, okay? So you will finish it like that. Now, how much rope do you need to close your mini? Do not waste yarn, okay? Yarn is not cheap, and yarn have a lot of loose bits of yarn, or be wasting your yarn. It's just you're throwing your money away, okay? So what I'm going to suggest you do is there that is double, put it until the center of what you have to sew. I know it's double, but if you pull it like that, I can assure you that it's going to be more than enough. So when your two or entire loop reach the center of your beanie, that's how much yarn you're going to need for sewing, okay? No more, no less. I can even tell you I have a little bit left that I didn't need it. Just to tell you that. It might seem like it's not enough, but you need to think you're gonna crumple it all and it will be enough. And I'm gonna prove it to you right now, because I believe I did not even post my camera, so I'm gonna be able to show you that I just cut that and that's all what I use. Okay, here you can see this is what I have. I didn't have any more than that. Okay, so now what you're going to do is, you don't have to perfectly take every single stitch, but do not jump so many stitches, okay? Because you don't want it to be really tight and crumply and curvy at the top, but as well, you do not want to have holes and need to go multiple times sewing around. And as well, you do not want it to be a really big difference from one side to another, okay? Because right now you are sewing in a circle, okay? So what you have to do is just keep taking your yarn needle and then your sewing needle, sorry, and then, no, I say it properly, my yarn needle. And then just keep going in between stitches. Maybe take one of the stitches, one of the chains. So that's a way that you're not taking only stitches, and then skip the next stitch and then go to the next chain space. And there's a quick and easy way to do it. I sometimes like to do like I'm showing right now. First doing it with my needle on its own without the yarn. And then I just pull it, put the yarn through, and then be able to pull it through a good chunk of the work that I'm doing at once. Be really careful, be gentle. It can sometimes get tangled at some point, but it's gonna work. And if you're panicking thinking you need any more yarn, I can promise you, you do not need any more, because again, right now the piece is absolutely open. But as we move along, we're gonna start crumpling a little bit, as much as you want to, okay? And I'm gonna show you as well in a moment. I don't even want to cut it to prove it to you, but you're gonna see in a moment as well. I'll suggest you flip the hat over so you can see how is it look before you fully sew it and tie it. So let me put this a little bit of music and this in a little bit of a speed up moment, and I see you once I've done the whole round. Now that we finished the whole round, you can see I still have more than enough, isn't it? And if I pull even more to fully close the circle, I will have even more. Right now at this point, I know the hole is really big, but this is the back side, this is the inside, remember? I'll suggest you put your yarn needle in and then you flip it around and you see how is it look on the right side. You do not want that beanie on the top to look really, really flat. So yes, do pull because you have to close the circle. But then I'm going to show you right now. First, put your hand so you kind of create a vase in there to make sure it's staying in place. And then you're going to go from one side to another, not really tight. You're going to start sewing it. If you do really, really tight, what is it going to happen is you're going to create an absolute and complete flat line. So you're going to have like a really marked straight line, and then you're gonna have the corners coming out, so it's gonna look more of like a Mickey Mouse hat, you know, with like ears, than actually how the beanie should look like. Obviously, once you the person put it on, it's just gonna become more flexible and it's gonna go more in place. But right now you need to think, you need to give this presentation to somebody, so it should look as its best. So let me just finish sewing it all, and then you will see what I mean with keep shaping the beanie until it has the proper shape on the top that it should. Because again, this is also handmade. Obviously, handmade things do not look perfect. Some people can easily say when handmade things are done, but just try your best, because a lot of people appreciate your hard work and they don't mind it's handmade, but that doesn't mean things has to be halfway done or done poorly, okay? Just try your best in every single project that you do, and I'll see you at the end to show you the absolute result, which it was fantastic. Okay, so here we have the result. As you can see, you have to flip that side over and you will be done. For some reason, my tail was playing a little bit funny that day, no matter how much I stitched it on and everything, but just go through it again. I couldn't find my scissors that day. It was a really stressful day with so much work to finish before the holidays. So yes, this is the absolute result. I loved it. It's way more pretty in person than on camera, because obviously you can barely see properly what's going on. But I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give us a huge thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Don't forget to check the rest of the videos that we have available. Let us know what would you like to see this year on our channel related to crocheting, and we will see you on the next one, which is coming up really, really soon. Bye now.